Friends, I went digging deep back into my archive. Last video we were talking about how playful that we noticed Don and Candus were during the early months of their daughter's summer going missing. And there was talk early on in this Don Wells victim-advocacy group about Don being guilty of something, as though that they were insinuating something along with their conversation. I thought you guys would like a fresh reminder, because this is a clip that isn't around, speaking to just how, let's say, dirty Don Wells can get. We all know there were charges. I'm not sure where they stand right now in Utah, whether they're going to proceed, but his sister, Jeannie, I believe her name was, wanted to charge Don for what had happened to her when she was younger. Of course, she went through many terrible stories, recounting them. And in response, Don and Candus pranked Mary Hartman, the other sister who spoke out against Don, and tried to, and then they made a recording of it, or Mary made a recording of it and shared it to the internet. But it was Candus calling and saying, because of what she did, the Mexican Mafia were trying to hurt Don, and then the police were hurting Don. It was just ridiculous. She was crying and carrying on. In this circumstance, Don is gaslighting here Chris McDonough. He's calling him up after, in my last video, we did a kind of a quick bruise through from Chris McDonough at the interview rooms, talk with Candus Wells at her house at 110 Ben Hill Road, where Don was hiding in the white shed. And it was immediately following that interview and the way that he released it, and how, if you remember back to that time, how Chris McDonough represented the situation as throwing shade. And what he did was call out Don Wells and his history of SA grape and his overall dirty, degenerate nature in that sense. And Don and Candus lost it. They were pissed, and they called back, and Chris McDonough made a recording of this nasty call that Don called back with, which is what is in front of us now. So in the first part of it, Don gaslights. He avoids and plays games with Chris McDonough, saying that he was mad, not because of something that he said, but because of something that he didn't say. As in, Don just made it up, saying that that Chris McDonough had mentioned Don's in an inappropriate relationship with Jeannie's daughter rather than Jeannie. And Don said Don is apparently upset about that, and Candus is in the background of this recording going off, yeah. So it shows you the type of nonsense that these two were up. Let's have a look. It happens around the 41 seconds, but I'll begin it a little earlier than that.
What did I lie about?
Because I told you the truth, and you twisted it all.
Okay,
That's lying.
What did I lie about?
It might be.
Tell me what
that might be your opinion.
Tell me what I lied about.
Everything. I told you that, like, for one, that me and my stepsister had something going on when we was younger, and you put on there that it was me and her daughter.
So he's mad that Don shared with Chris that over the phone he talked about him and his stepsister having a thing going on when they were younger. Well, do you know what younger means to Jeannie? Illegal territory. not older teenager. Don was a predator, an sexual predator back in his younger days in this circumstance. And he minimizes that and accuses Chris of saying that instead it was Jeannie's daughter, as if that makes a difference when it comes to the topic. So he's minimizing. Typical pred-like behavior, isn't it?
No.
Are you crazy?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I said it's your stepsister.
I guess my niece, or whatever she's supposed to be to me, the one that says I raped her, which is 100% lies.
Trish never said you raped her.
What it says on her video.
Well, that's her video. That's not mine.
Yeah.
So what does Trish's statement have to do with me?
You put her statement on your show.
But I
on your
didn't,
podcast.
because I watched her statement, and I wanted people just like you to know the truth.
But she's lying. You know, and that's the thing. You don't know whether she's telling the truth or I'm telling the truth. I know who's telling the truth.
Right. But now,
And she knows who's lying.
Do you see the games that Don called up to play with Chris McDonough? In that sense, he's essentially taunting him, putting himself in a place of having all of the knowledge in this circumstance. Isn't that a bit of a tell there, Don? Yeah.
Well, then, what about the statement you gave me about, is it your stepsister?
Yeah, my stepsister.
And you...
When we were young.
How old were you?
Yeah, that was Jeannie.
How old were you?
You know, she initiated all this stuff. I'm going to tell you that right now.
So, the young girl, of course, Don would be victim blaming in this circumstance. Putting it all back onto his stepsister, who was far underage, did it behind their parents' back in a predatory manner at home. And you're telling Chris that you, the girl, the young child, initiated it? This is really exposing Don Wells for the scumbag child predator he is, and these things just don't go away because Don goes to church now. What happened to Summer Wells that day, Don? Looking back now, it really makes me wonder. I do, and I'm starting to believe the word on the streets that you were there by 11 a.m., the day that your daughter was reported missing. Was it you who was standing by 30-odd feet out waiting in the bushes to snatch her up? Or maybe you were hiding out in that white shed of yours. Which one is it? Is it too late yet? We know that Don's a panty-sniffing man. He's been locked up for that specific crime. He broke into somebody's apartment and stole their underwear. And I think she was like an 80-year-old woman and they were bloomers. It was just something disgusting, shocking.
She initiated it, yes.
Okay. And then you just went along with it?
Well, I was a kid, brother.
And how old?
I was a kid. I didn't know no better.
How old were you?
I was still a kid.
How
I might have been somewhat a little bit older than her.
How much?
You know, I can't remember. I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. About how many years difference? Do you remember?
There's a little bit of difference there, you know.
How many?
But she still initiated it and stabbed me in my back.
How many years different?
Man, there ain't no talking to you. I can see that. You're going to twist everything I said.
I'm asking you how many years different. That's it.
I don't know. But you're just going to twist it. You're just going to make me have to look back. And this happened like over 40 years ago, and she wants to bring it all up now. All the time I was in prison, she could have called the cops on me and had me charged for rape if it actually happened. So you know it's got to be lies right there. You made me look like a freaking criminal, dude. I'm trying to change your lives. You're a fucking idiot. We all make mistakes. You act like you're Mr. Perfect like you ain't done a fucking thing wrong in your life, and that's a lie.
Okay, what have I done wrong?
Oh, according to you, not a damn thing, but I'm sure you have.
I'm asking you.
You're not perfect.
If you know my life, so tell me what I've done.
I know what Christ says, and he says everybody has sinned. So tell me you haven't sinned.
I'm a sinner.
Tell me a fucking lie.
See, Donnie automatically tries to go to religion to have the final word in these little conversations of his. So as we start to ramp back our Summer Wills content, I think it's important to play this particular clip. And the reason why is because Andrew Hiltz, Hunter's father, Hunter, who was and spent Summer's last day swimming, along with Candus in an inappropriate relationship. That's his father in that sense. And of course, his role in all this is minimal, as we can see, but nonetheless, Candus Wells, or Bly here, excuse me, brings him up as Allison's dad. And looking back on it now, a lot more things make sense as we've come to learn about the story, of course. Now, Candus is talking about the day and the route down by the river where they went swimming in that sense. And she's going to mention Hunter's dad. And this is going to be relevant to update people as to the future content so that we have a reference point in that sense. Because Andrew's going to come up, no doubt, in the future.
Okay. I really wish I could understand it.
Okay.
And she stuck me with that guy. That we go slow because of my mom's knee.
Okay.
Messed up.
Okay.
I was just standing here at the end, and then, well, the water's up a lot further than it usually is. Usually it's down. You can usually see all that wood sticking up all the water. And she was just playing right here.
And what time do you get here about, if you remember?
I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you. Time is... I don't keep track of time.
No, I understand.
I mean, I get up in the morning, I do my thing with the kids, and then we go to bed.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you. I know I went to the hospital at 8 with my mom, dropped her off, and I was sitting there, and Hunter called me and asked me what I was doing. I said I was sitting at the hospital in the parking lot waiting on my mom to get done. And he said, well, why don't you all come over? I said, well, as long as your mom says it's okay. And I guess he woke her up or said something to her, and he said, yeah, she said it's fine for a little bit, because I guess his grandma was coming over or something. She don't like me. But I don't like her either, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, seems like you guys have had a falling out. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And,
it was stupid part on Al, really honest.
What was it over?
Well, I don't know if it was her husband or Hunter's, I'm just going to say Hunter's daddy. Come out with all these guys and stuff, and we're supposed to move down here. And they couldn't find a place to stay or whatever. Well, I don't really remember what this guy's name was. I know he's a Mexican, I think. And she
that Jose guy?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, she wanted him to stay. And she was also staying at my house.
Okay.
So I said, well, if you're going to be with him, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. That's y'all's deal. And I don't know, they did whatever they did because I didn't really pay attention to them. I just hung out with the kids and my mom. And then one day he just goes, I like chicks with dicks. Mm-hmm. After him and her did whatever. And she got all pissed off and just said, told my mom, take me and my kids back to my place. I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know what really happened.
Okay.
She just went off the handle. And ever since that, I don't know, she's just been hateful towards me. And I don't know, I don't get it. Okay. I really wish I could understand it.
Okay.
And she's
a lot. Nobody's perfect, though, right?
No, I'm not perfect.
I'm not perfect by any means, shape, or thought.
Never have been perfect. Never meant to try to be perfect.
And me neither. I mean,
I am a person just like you.
Yep.
Or your wife.
That's right.
That person out there on that jet ski.
That's right.
I'm no different than anybody else.
We all make mistakes. There's no question about that. No question about it.
I can't even enjoy life without my kids.
Help me understand what you mean by that.
Like how these guys are out here having fun with their family and stuff. I can't even go in that water and pretend to even have fun because what's the point? She's not here to enjoy it with.
You know, I lost a son.
Yeah, you were saying that.
I know that whole. I know there's a depth of pain that nobody understands until you have been in that hole. Okay? And
you know, I've been in this hole twice now.
Help me understand that.
Well, once when my mom called me and said that they couldn't find my little sister, Rosie.
Okay.
When she disappeared. And that was heartbreaking. But my daughter, that's twice as worse.
Right.
You might as well just rip my chest out, throw it out there for the fish to eat because it's worthless without her. I try to be strong for my boys. I try to have hope. I feel like everybody is against me.
It's all right. You wanna rest for a minute? You wanna take a break for a second?
Yes.
Yeah. Take your time. Nobody else is here. They're all gone. Everybody left.
Not sure if I recorded that last part. We're going on into a clip from the Don Wells victim advocacy group early on, talking about the difficulties in working with Don and Candus while they're under the influence. As well, referencing Cher from Voices Behind My Balls, I mean Voices Behind the Wall, here on YouTube, who was at this time in the middle of flipping against Don, as she was one who was cozying up to him at the time for a moment, but she flipped. Now, anyway, let's listen.
Keep Don on the phone with me to make sure he didn't get drunk or fall asleep.
Leaked Zoom call.
So that I could do the phone call with him at 9 o'clock. I tried to do it at 6 or 7, and he wouldn't do it until 9, and then, you know, he just wouldn't do it until like 9, and I was scared he was going to get drunk. And I didn't want him on the show drunk, so I had to keep calling him like every 15 minutes and making up shit reasons why I was calling him so I could make sure he was sober.
Right. Oh, Lord. Us Southern people can be drunk and not really even sound drunk, you know that?
Listen, I don't even know how they ended up doing that call the other day when they called his sister, because we had just talked to them, and I sat down, we hung up, and they were drinking when we talked to them, but, you know, but for them to get drunk enough to make that call with his sister they called me at 12:30, and they were cracking the fuck up. They were so proud of themselves. I said, I feel like I just left the kids home alone. And they got into my liquor cabinet. They were smashed when they called me back.
Wow.
And they were just so proud of themselves. And then they were asking me, what can we call them back and say next? I was like, I'm not getting involved in this shit. You fucking people are crazy.
Wow.
I'm not telling you. You're calling the person that's getting you arrested for sexual abuse. She filed charges on you for sexual abuse. And you want me to give you a statement that you can say to her? You just told her that first they said that the freaking mafia came and got them or whatever, the Mexican Mafia, And then they told him that the cops were beating him up.
Mm-hmm.
All in the same phone call. And they said that it was for $80,000, and then they said it was for freaking charging the Capitol building in fucking January. And I'm like, you guys don't make sense. Why did they take him to fucking Boston?
They better be careful accusing the Mexican Mafia of messing with them, because they will kill them.
Well, I hope nobody kills them, because I want to know where Summer is, and if Dawn's dead, I don't think we're going to find out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Donnie with the do-rag on.
Case that I can't even remember what happens from day to day.
Right.
Like, I literally have to go back and say, okay, that happened on Friday, but then this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cher just did a huge podcast that, like, basically blew him out of the water, but I have a person who was listening in on that call when she called Dawn on Saturday about that $50,000. I'm sure some of you don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. But that's not even how it went down. Cher is lying about shit.
God. Oh my God.
Cher is trying to listen. The guy that wrote what?
By the way, a little update in 2025, madam. Cher's latest grift. Listen to this, everybody. Cher's taking donos, or was taking donations in order to get a polygraph examination for Dawn. Like, how narrow-minded, short-sighted, lacking not only self-awareness from Cher's part, but even knowledge about what would even be valuable to take from a series of questioning. And what good would it do? It doesn't stand up in court. It was an excuse for her to grift and raise money. And she did start to raise money, by the way. And guess what? She found a reason not to do the exam, i.e., not to do what it is she set out to do with subscribers' money yet again.
I can't even think, Catherine. What's that doctor's name? The one with the documentary?
Dr. Oz.
Which doctor?
Are you still here?
Which?
The doctor that was talking to Cher.
I don't know about a doctor that was talking to Cher.
He's not really a doctor. He has a TV show. What's his name?
Oh, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Phil?
No, Dr. Oz wants to buy the rights to Summer's story. From Cher.
That's right.
I mean, This shit is off the hook. That's why she's doing what she's doing the last 2 days.
That's why she's been doing it from the jump.
But I'm saying that's why she jumped ship. And is trying because she knew.
So she jumped ship from the Don Wells victim advocacy group here to be anti-Don, to otherwise take the information that Don has given over to her and use it for her own financial gain in that sense. She's gone into business for herself, they would say.
That Dawn was done with her. And right, Dawn caught on to her, and she knew, and so she's twisting shit around. I mean, I have hundreds of text messages of conversations that Dawn's done, and I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm just saying our point as advocates is to give justice to the victims.
Right.
If you can't be a part of it because this case is overwhelming, then just let me know, and I'll give you something else to do. Believe me, there's plenty of shit to do.
Yeah, there's a
Oh, Cher. Is this the victim advocates group that Don Wells has contacted? This. Oh, sea suckers cramp.
Well, yesterday she gave me on Monday at like 11:30 at night. She gave me yesterday off. Okay? Because we were supposed to get a bad storm, and she was nervous about me driving that whole way in my car. And, you know, and she was nervous about it. And I was like, whatever. You know, I was like, fine, whatever, I don't care. So then she texted me at like 4:30 yesterday and was like, Sick, I need you to go in. And I was like, well, I can't go in. You already gave me today off. Like, I'm not just sitting around here with my foot up my ass. I had that freaking thing. I had to keep Don on the phone with me to make sure he didn't get drunk or fall asleep so that I could do the phone call with him at 9 o'clock. I tried to do it at 6 or 7, and he wouldn't do it until 9. And then, you know, he...
Friends, join me later on my live tonight. We'll talk about it. Here's Don's sister Mary talking about it took 8 months to clear the roach infestation after Don moved in. That's why he used intimidation tactics to keep him in the trailer. Now, those of you who haven't seen that, let's take a look at
it. It was terrible. They constantly had lice and scabies and silverfish in the house, roaches. Yeah. When Donnie came down here to Utah and moved in with my mom and dad, it took my mom and dad like 8 months to get rid of the roaches that he brought with him.
Oh my gosh.
You know? Yeah, it's terrible. And Donnie's done that every time he's moved in with them.
And you said when they were down there that he wouldn't let you even talk to Josie.
No. I went over there the one day, and Josie was, because they were staying in a motor home out in the driveway that my dad had, and Donnie was at work, and I walked in the house, and Josie was in the front room watching TV, and I went in there to sit down and talk to him, and he seemed just really shy and timid. I kind of got him to open up a little bit. I was asking him about school and stuff like that, and Donnie came in about 5 minutes later, and he looked at Josie, and he said, "What the hell are you doing in here?" And Josie looked at him, and you could tell Josie was scared.
Oh, and wow.
Donnie told him, "You get your ass out of here and you get in the motorhome. I told you never to come in here when I'm not here." And and I told Donnie, I was like, "Dude, he's okay. There's nothing wrong with him being in here. He's fine, you know." And Donnie kicked his ass all the way out to the motorhome. So,
wow.
Yeah, wasn't a good situation.
Well, when a parent disciplines